Yo, what's up, Blackish fam? I hope all is well in the world. Your corner of the. We're continuing to break down new music, and this is music that's new to me, but some of these players have been in the game for years. Shout out to our comment section where someone put me on Ciroc and the Goddess MC. And yo, I have not been disappointed. Talk about someone intelligent that has something good to say and bringing positive change to our communities. But this chick is lyrical. And I'm not saying lyrical for a woman. I'm not saying lyrical for this or for that. This chick is, I don't know many people that can spit with her. This is a chick that actually has a track with Black Thought. Think about that. Black Thought doesn't just bless anyone, right? There has to be, you have to be on top of your game. Yo, without further ado, I want to get right into, this is Ciroc. The track is called Lay It Down. Listen to that beat.
I can count all of my blessings on a stretch of night sky. Pops told me never question any good the life supply. Cause any fair weather come with heavy shares and downpours, and I drop.
You hear what I mean?
Once question any good the life supply. Count on.
She comes out swinging, right? I got the lyrics here. I don't know if you guys can see them, but I love what she said. She said, I can count all of my blessings on a stretch of night sky. And think about that. When you look up at the night sky, it's endless, right? You can see stars just going on for miles, I guess, depending on where you are. So when people say count your blessings, she's saying like, yo, you might be mistaken. There's a lot of good going on out here, right? You might be surprised. But I also love what she said. She said, Pops told me never question any good that life supplied, right? So don't question when someone's trying to do good and trying to help you. It reminds me of the old saying, don't look a gift horse in the mouth. And you might be like, what does that mean? Well, when you get a horse, you look in its mouth and you determine the health of the horse based on what's inside of their mouth. But what it's saying, though, is, yo, it's a gift horse. Someone is hooking you up for free. Don't question what they're doing. Just accept it, thank them, and move on.
I can count all of my blessings on a stretch of night sky. Pops told me never question any good the life supply. Cause any fair weather come with heavy shares and downpours, and I drown more times than I've ever bathed in life spot. I'm trying to sugar heart.
Listen to what she said, right? She said, because any fair weather can come with heavy shares of downpour, right? Just because things look good now, it can get ugly real quick, and that's how life is, right? You're riding some high, you're riding the wave of what's going on in your life. All of a sudden, tragedy strikes, right? All of a sudden, something happens, and she's saying, "Yo, I've drowned more times, right? I've drowned more times than I've ever bathed in light spot, right? That little gray cloud has hovered over me a lot more than the sun has, right? I've seen my share of drama."
For the pressures of the market, held the album up, triggered, now I'm aiming my shot. 80s baby crackhead cops in 88s crawling the block, and now I turn that damage into scribble canvas by 80s bitch coming.
I just love that beat. Listen to how different that is.
I can count all of my blessings on a stretch of night sky. Pops told me never question any good the life supply. Cause any fair weather come with heavy shares and downpours, and I drown more times than I've ever bathed in light spot. I'm trying to sugar heart from the pressures of the market, held the album up, triggered, now I'm aiming my shot. 80s baby cracking cops in 88.
Listen to what she's saying. She said, I kept trying to shield the heart from the pressures of the market, right? It's like, yo, there's so much going on in the world, and you feel like you have to protect yourself sometimes, but sometimes you just got to let things be, man, and just go with the flow. That's just sick. And she said, I held the album up, triggered. Now I'm aiming my shot, right? That could be a shot to like people like Eminem say, yo, you got one shot. use it wisely, right? If you burn what's going, right, this hype that's building around you, you're going to lose it. So take advantage of it while it's here. This is your shot. And what I love what she said, yo, I'm an 80s baby, right? That's just like me. I was born in 1982. So when I came of age, it was the 90s, right? It was, yeah, there was crime in the world, but there was a drug, right? There was a battle against drug. Crack was in these streets. There were fiends. People were losing their dads to jail, right? Now, she said, yo, there were ADAs crawling the block. I don't know if she's referring to in different parts of the world. Dicks and narcs and stuff are referred to as different things. But she said, there's a lot of drama going on in these streets out here. And it's important that we understand what that is. We understand the context of what's going on and what she's thinking about.
Pause and I drown more times than I've ever bathed in life spot. You try to shield the heart from the pressures of the market. Held the album up, trick it, now I'm aiming my shot. 80s baby crackhead cops and 88s crawling the block. And now I turn that damage into scribble canvas. Basquiat, double dutch on the floor.
Basquiat, he actually died. Actually, I think he overdosed, if I'm not mistaken. But his claim to fame was during the 80s. He's an artist, and he put together some just really beautiful, vivid work. But unfortunately, the drugs got him, and if I'm not mistaken, he overdosed. But his name is Basquiat. You can still see a lot of his artwork. But if I'm not mistaken, I don't know if he's from New York actually, but Basquiat, you can easily Google and see some of his work.
No more questions galore. That was before I found that they were serving bass to the door. Basically, that was when my child shattered face to the floor. Cause for my folks, cocaine and vodka never shot. I love my blessings on a stretch of night sky. Pops told me never question any good the life supply. Cause any fair weather come with heavy shares and downpours. And I drown more times than I've ever bathed in life spot. You try to shield the heart from the pressures of the market. Held the album up, trick it, now I'm aiming my shot. 80s baby crackhead cops and 88s crawling the block. And now I turn that damage into scribble canvas. Basquiat, double dutch up the floor. No more questions galore.
Listen, she's describing the world around her, right? She said double Dutch after 4. In Dutch, a lot of people think of the smoke, right? Depending on where you are, there's different rappers and whatnot. But double Dutch is something from our generation. That's when you're out there and you're doing little hood rhymes. And where I come from, now they didn't even have rope. Kids and girls used to be out there with extension cords. Yeah, extension cords. Talking about, yo, mammy, yo, granny, yo, grease, grandmammy. Got holes in the drawers, 10 feet tall enough to play basketball. Go whoop-de-whoop like Betty Boop. 1, 2, 3. And then you're in the middle breaking it down, jumping in the jump rope. That's called double Dutch. That was really popular in the inner city back in the 90s. You might have girls using the skip it, right? The hula hoop outside. And all the boys are sitting there with the long freeze pops or on the basketball court. And listen to what she's saying. She said double Dutch after 4. Dope boy crushes galore, right? At the same time that this crack epidemic was happening, there were a lot of people getting money on these streets, right? Not just with crack, but cocaine, with weed. And dope boys became popular. People started to see them making moves in the community and having money. And of course, people idolized or glamorized the lifestyle.
That was before I found that they were serving bass to the door. Basically, that was when my child shattered face to the floor. Cause for my folks, cocaine and vodka held persuasive allure. I ain't never had a trust fund.
You listen to what she's saying, right? That's what these people were serving people. She said, that's when my childhood shattered. When you think of something shattering, she said, vase to the floor, right? You drop something glass and it breaks. She said, this is so detrimental to my hood. Think about this. For my folks, cocaine and vodka held a persuasive allure. Listen to where she's going with it. She said, I had never had a trust fund. A trust fund is when you come from a family of money, right? There might be generational wealth. So what do? You set up a trust fund for your kids. You give them an allowance. I'll give you $3,000 or $4,000 a month your entire life. All right, let's say $10,000 a month your entire life. So you live your life differently because you know that there's no floor. You can never F it up, right? If you're a trust fund baby, you're normally a typical type of kid. Some would consider spoiled. They take advantage of things because they don't understand the true cost of things. She said, I never had a trust fund. I never had gold that wasn't plated. gold-plated stuff is cheap, right? It's not real gold. It's just the outside is gold, so it doesn't irritate your skin. But truthfully, it's not real gold, right? She's saying, yo, I came from these slums, bro.
Face to the floor, cause for my folks, cocaine and vodka help persuasive with law. I ain't never had a trust fund, gold that wasn't plated, but ever since the new one, that globe been reinstated, cause my legacy rich, ain't got the bag yet, just some baggage in a closet full of skeletons, clips, the kind of blues that don't.
She said, yo, I don't got the bag yet, right? Talking about the money in the game. But she said, yo, I got some baggage. I also got a closet full of skeletons, crips, right? I've been killing people for a while in this music game. And, yo, I got my share of drama, too. But don't get it twisted. I'm out here still trying to get this bag, right?
Ain't got the bag yet, just some baggage in a closet full of skeletons, clips, the kind of blues that don't fade, cause the stain too deep. Went from sharecrop to murder cap, range too big. Generation gap shrinking as the pain increase. So I'm trying to translate my trauma to whatever slang you speak. It's my life unshot.
Wow, went from sharecrop to murder capital. So I think what just understanding more about her, she said her dad was a sharecropper, right? But she's from D.C., so she's in the murder capital. She's talking about that range of what she's been through, right? She said the generational gap shrinks as the pain increases. Yo, you could translate that in a variety of different ways, but when there's a gap in generation, there's normally a gap in how people think, how they suffer, how they move. She said, yo, I'm trying to translate my trauma to whatever language you speak, right? Because one would argue that it's not necessarily, there's no Mexicans, Puerto Ricans, blacks, white. There's really haves and have-nots. And she's telling you the story of the have-nots and her fight for this bag, right? Yo, that's just deep. And the way she writes, too, is beautiful. This isn't even her most lyrical song. Her most lyrical song is like a trivia card. Like, I'm like, what is this? Like, it's deep. This is nice, though. She's just riding the beat like a legend should. And she's nice with it, right? Let's run it back a few.
Thing too big. Went from sharecrop to murder cap, range too big. Generation gap shrinking as the pain increase. So I'm trying to translate my trauma to whatever slang you speak. It's my life unshot. Cameras on record. Memory banks is full of gems. Might as well pay it for. If that shit music ain't complete, not believe what you score. Signed your friend the tortured artist. That's the plight report. I'm not
tortured artist.
Before it falls down.
She said the tortured artist. Normally you refer to someone as a starving artist. But a tortured artist just paints a different picture, right? She's putting this music out there, but she's telling you, man, I'm not just starving, I'm tortured, right? I'm oppressed. Listen to my story. I got something to say. Yo, this is nice.
I never had no diamond rings or the finer things, but I'm still rocking my crown.
Got him.
Everybody got some rhythm. Had to let it burn to the rhythm. If you wanna fly right quick, gotta give that shit don't know what some of this shit.
Listen to what she said. If you wanna fly right, you gotta give up some of that shit that's trying to weigh you down. That's a metaphor to life, right? I've once heard this great advice that said, sometimes to add to your life, you have to subtract from your life, right? You have to think about the people that are around you for the wrong reasons. Think about the weed, think about the liquor, think about the girls that might be out there trying to steal your man. Come on now, right? She's not just saying this just to be saying it. There's some truth to this.
Shit should be shared to be fair. Keeping it mama's how the worst part of the real. And if you wanna fly right quick, gotta give that shit. Don't know if some of this shit should be shared to be fair. Keeping it mama's how the worst of God's assumptions are fair. And let the lyrics say it.
She said, yo, I don't know if some of this shit should be shared, right? Just to be fair, I don't know if I should be doing this, but on this channel, what do we call ourselves? Modern day griots. Griot is someone that would pass information from one generation to the next, and it's not our job to censor information. The good, the bad, the ugly. If you want to understand who you are, where you come from, and the civil rights movement, and slavery, and the transition after slavery, and how ugly that was for our people. I'm talking about women being raped their entire lives. Men just being dome shot, mouth shots, forced to have sex with other people, their wives being taken from them, and the people, doing what they want with them. That's what I'm talking about. That is what happened in American history. And, it's not my job to censor it. My job is not to change the narrative, right? I want to get that information and put it out there so you understand exactly where it is you're from and exactly what we're fighting for and how far we've come.
Some of these rappers functioning like you that shit. Don't know if some of this shit should be shared. To be fair, keeping it mama's how the worst of God's assumptions are fed. And let the lyrics tell us some of these rappers functionally dead. That's where I come in hella late, but I ain't punctually led. See, times ain't always been kind of my branch of the pear tree. Son of Virginia shake, from his dad tried to spare me. Went from white girls, not a.
Listen to what she's saying, right? She said, some of y'all worst assumptions are fed by silence, right? Think about it. These stereotypical assumptions that you make about people that look like her or look like me. Now think about that. She's saying, let the lyrics tell it. Some of these rappers are functionally dead. They're not doing anything for our streets. They're not bringing any positive change to our community. She said, yo, that's where I come in. I'm hella late, but I'm not punctually led, right? I'm not here because I was supposed to be here at a certain time. I'm here to fill a void, all right? I'm here to put you on. I'm trying to pass this knowledge on to you. She said, yo, the times ain't always been kind in my branch of the pear tree, right? My people have been violated in ways that you would not understand. I mean, think about that. I always think about a slave, a mom that's giving birth to a woman, right? Giving birth to a young lady, and you know what's in store for her. Think about how strong you have to be as a person that you know that she's going to be raped, she's going to be beaten, and what best case scenario and worst case scenario look like for her. I would be so hesitant to bring another kid into the world. But keep in mind, this is how life was, right? This is hundreds of years. But, what she's saying is, times ain't always been good to my kind. My branch of the pear tree might not be like your ancestry tree, right? I've been through some really rough stuff. I'm the son of Virginia sharecroppers, right? She mentioned that before. My dad tried to spare me, right? She's talking about the play on words there. She said, I went from seeing white hoods late night on the family land. You're talking about the Ku Klux Klan, right? Yo, that's deep. Run it back.
Son of Virginia shake, from his dad tried to spare me. Went from singing white hoods late night on the family land to living red line hoods for babies of family man street gig.
Ooh, redlining, right? And we're going to do another video that goes into what redlining is, but it's a way to keep you in certain areas of the city. It's a way to lead you to certain areas like cattle. And when you think of, I'm from Chicago, a lot of people are like, oh, Chicago's so diverse. Chicago is diverse, but you have to know that there's not a lot of interaction between the different diverse hoods. There's a Polish hood, there's a Chinese hood, there's a black area, there's a white area, but these areas are really segregated. And if you go to a certain part of town, it's a black part of town, it's a Mexican part of town, right? And why is that? Why is it? Because when you control where people live, you can also control funding. You can also control how they live, right? So that's one way of siphoning money and government help, and you're pulling it into positions where there's better communities, right? And think about how many things are based on where we live, right? Property taxes, the taxes that actually feed the school system in your area, the businesses, the stores, right? The transportation or lack of transportation. You know how hard it is or was to catch a cab in certain areas of Chicago before Uber, before Lyft? As a black person or person leaving downtown Chicago, and you're like, hey, I got to get to 83rd and Stony Island, the taxis would be like, shit, and just keep on. And it wasn't you could do. And that's if they stopped for you in the first place. So it's just a different experience being black. But, talking about redlining, that's something really big in our hood that we need to really understand. That we're not going to see change if we don't understand what's going on and why people are doing it.
Been kind of my branch of the pear tree. Son of Virginia shake, from his dad tried to spare me. Went from singing white hoods late night on the family land to living red line hoods for babies of family man. Street gig 24/7. We feared for his protection, but his scar still on his back. But her hand was against his stand, Lord. Lord knows
he wasn't killed in these streets. He wasn't shot in these streets. She said the avenue was Afghanistan. Now that's a whole other conversation about how the U.S. Army and the military targets people of color, right? To help span. Hey, we'll give you college, all right? We'll give you this much for college. We'll give you this much as an incentive But yo, a lot of people risk their lives for a country that doesn't necessarily support them in their endeavors. Think about that. Think about when Muhammad Ali was going to be drafted to Vietnam. What did he say? He said, "The people in Vietnam never did nothing to me. I don't know anything about them, but I know that this country has, they've treated me disproportionately bad, treated my people bad. They might have hit me. They might have abused me. I'm threatened, right? The way that I live my life in this country is bad. So why would I fight for you?" And think about that. But they target our young black youth. You can go and die for your country, but you can still come back here. Think about after World War II, right? In places like, or before the Civil Rights Movement, there are people that went away to fight for their country and had to come back here and couldn't eat at the same places as other people. They put their life on the line. Some of those people paid the ultimate price, but they're not treated the same when they get back to our country. Come on now.
And then tested the kid. They are still on his list for babies, a family man. Street gig 24/7. We feared for his protection, but his scar still on his back. But the ad was Afghanistan, Lord knows that they done tested the kid. Didn't believe in demons till I saw Pops wrestle with his. No cap. Started wearing his stress like a hand-me-down. That's why I'm addressing these emotions on break.
He's saying like, yo, no cap. Like, I ain't bullshitting, but listen to what she's saying. Like she said, like, Lord knows that they've tested me, right? And the play on Afghanistan, she could be talking about these streets are like a war zone, right? I'm from Chicago. People say, yo, there's 1,000 bodies. We lost more kids to Afghanistan or Iraq than we have for people that are in the inner city, right? So, yo, it's just sick of what she's saying. She said, yo, I didn't believe in demons until I saw my pops wrestling with his. When you wrestle with demons, you might struggle with something like depression or struggle with drug abuse, right? There's different things that you can struggle with where the saying is wrestling with demons. Yo, that's just nice. She said, yo, I wear his stress like a hand-me-down, right? A hand-me-down is something when you get clothes, if you have a big brother, big sister, big uncle, they pass down their clothes. Those are called hand-me-downs, right? So they're still good. You might be dressed like a substitute teacher when you're in 5th grade, but you got new clothes, right? It's a good way of saving money if you're living in poverty. But the play on words, and she said, like, yo, that's why I'm undressing these emotions on record to finally clear it. Undressing, the play on words with wrestling with his addictions. No cap, right? The hand-me-down, she's still playing on that. Yo, there's just good wordplay, good lyrics there.
Lord knows that they done tested the kid. Didn't believe in demons till I saw Pops wrestle with his. No cap. Started wearing his stress like a hand-me-down. That's why I'm addressing these emotions on record. Define it clear. Get freedom from this bar like Joanne Chestmore. Try to sing gun like I'm Jessamine Wall.
Listen to what she's saying. She said, I'm getting freedom from these bars like Joanne Chestmore. Joanne Chestmore, that's just another alias. What's her name? Shakur, Tupac's godmother, right? She was a member of the Black Panther Party. She supposedly killed these state troopers, and then she fled. She fled, like she said, getting freedom from these bars. She fled to Cuba, and a lot of people think she's still in Cuba, living her best life today. But one of her aliases, this was a name that she goes by, amongst many other things. But a lot of people know her because of her last name, right, Shakur, and they think of Tupac Shakur. His mom was also a part of the movement, but I believe this is actually referring to his godmother.
The crown and it's heavy when the load up. Tracking these emotions on record, define it clear. Get freedom from this bar like Joanne Chestmore.
Let's run it back just a few seconds.
The crowd when it's stressed like a hand-me-down. That's why I'm addressing these emotions on record, define it clear. Get freedom from this bar like Joanne Chestmore. Try to sing unburied like I'm Jessamine Ward. See the crown in it.
Jessamine Ward, right? She had that novel. It's called Sing Unburied Sing. So it's just a play, but she's a black, she's actually a professor too, I believe. Let's run that back a few seconds.
Heavy Joanne Chestmore. Try to sing unburied like I'm Jessamine Ward. See the crown ain't as heavy when the load laid bare. Air the love unburdened, that's the light of a poet.
Yo.
I'm out to lay it all down before it falls down. I never had no diamond rings or the finer things, but I'm still rocking my crown.
She said, yo, I'm the goddess MC, right? I'm a queen in my own right. I never had diamond rings. I never had these finer things, but it doesn't take away from who I am. I'm still a queen, right?
Everybody got some rhythm. Had to let it burn to get rid of 'em. And if you wanna fly right quick, gotta give 'em that shit, trying to lay you down. I'm about to lay it all down before it falls down. I never had no diamond rings or the finer things, but I'm still rocking my crown. And everybody got some rhythm. Had to let it burn to get rid of 'em. And if you wanna fly right quick, gotta give up that shit, trying to lay you down.
Yo, that's deep, and I love the message too, right? Again, she's saying, yo, if you want to get ahead in life, sometimes you have to look at the shit around you that's weighing you down. What is it? What is it? The weed? Is it the liquor? Is it the partying? Is it not continuing your education? Is it not taking work serious? She's saying like, yo, you gotta, if you want to make moves in this world, it's hard enough as it is. You got to give up that stuff trying to weigh you down. Just a good message, and another reason why we continue to support Ciroc on this channel, right? Listen to what she's saying. It's about positive change, and anybody that's bringing that is worth breaking down these bars and exploring their music. Yo, this is that altar call. If you're a fan of good music and dissecting the lyrics, and don't forget to not just like the video, but support the channel as well by subscribing.